Welcome to the Marketing Revolution podcast. This is the underground movement of savage marketers from all over the world. We are not Fortune 500 companies. We are real entrepreneurs with real businesses that have one major thing in mind: to set goals and devour them daily. Because we understand that everyone wants to eat, but only savage marketers are willing to do the hunt. Now let's get this revolution started. Hey, what's up, everybody? John Hiley here with the Marketing Revolution podcast and the Marketing Savage Facebook group, coming to you today with another savage motherfucking interview live inside of the Facebook group. I am featuring fitness guru who has been involved in the fitness industry for over 19 years. And I met this fucking savage motherfucker. I met him through Ryan Stewman. You're the one that's shoving your foot up Ryan's ass, making sure that he's doing his exercises on a daily basis. I seen that shit that you're doing to him, man. It's almost cruel. It's like you got a board that you spin. It's like the board of death. And we're going to talk about that board of death on this podcast because I know all y'all want to get fit. And this is the dude that is making America fit again. It is motherfucking Marc Zalmanoff. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that intro. Happy to be here.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I knew Ryan probably not going to listen to the beginning of this, so I had to throw that foot up his ass thing. You kind of got to keep your foot up somebody's ass, though. If you're, that's why people pay you, really.
It's kind of it's a perk of my job that I get to be that for so many people. And it's funny, for those of you who know Stewman, there's not a lot of people that tell him what to do in this world. His wife's probably one of them, and his kids, and then I'm right below that. So I like it.
Because he knows. Everybody knows. We all need like a coach in our life, and essentially that's what you are. You're a fitness coach, but not only you're a fitness coach, man. You got everybody doing some crazy workouts, and that's good because we used to do that when we were younger, man. We always thought of things that were kind of like outside the box. And, coming from a wrestling background. So that's what I did through high school. I wrestled, and then I did jujitsu, and then I got into judo, always into martial arts and things like that. And when we were wrestling, man, I remember like one of the best things that we did is we started pushing cars, man, around this parking lot, man, which created like resistance, which gave us power to shoot them double legs like 10 times harder. And then what was happening, like nobody could stop us. people try to stop us from hitting them double legs hard. And we were used to pushing cars fucking 3 or 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
So at that point, like it built up all them odd muscles that we needed just to do what we do, So tell us a little bit about what you do, man, at your workout facility and what you got going on, bro.
Yeah. So I own a workout facility in Frisco, Texas. I do small group training and personal training. I also do online training and online coaching. And I also coach other fitness coaches to grow their business. So, what's interesting is, everything I do still serves the mission. And the mission is make America fit again. And, I joke about this because it started as this shtick a few years ago, obviously because of Trump. And it gained traction and gained a little more traction. I was like, oh, fuck it, I'll just run with it. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, but that really is what I'm trying to do. And it's what I've spent a lifetime doing in the gym and with people online. And last year really helped me pivot into that coaching other coaches realm. And again, if I can help other coaches stay in business and grow their business and thrive and make money, I'm still accomplishing this mission of making America fit again. So it all ties into it to itself. And it's been great. Last year was awesome. I know it was shitty for a lot of people. It wasn't shitty for me, and I was ready, and I was ready for what I didn't know I needed to be ready for, but I was ready anyway. And when you talk about, the push in the car thing, because, I've done that and I love it. And it's, it's this weird, odd challenge, strong man type thing. But it's those things that over the years callous our mind. And I think it's so important, especially as comfortable as we live. Look, like I live in Frisco, Texas. It's one of the most affluent cities in America. It's the fastest growing city in America. I can get food anytime I want. I'm in a, air conditioned, heated house. Like life's real fucking comfortable.
You're right, man.
And if we don't intentionally go out and get uncomfortable, then we're doomed and we'll never achieve the things we want to achieve. And, you understand that, and some of our inner circle understands that, but the masses need to understand that so much more. So when I look at fitness, yes, I want to help people get in shape. Yes, I want to help people lose weight, get better habits, feel better about themselves. All those things matter. But a large portion of it is getting people to push themselves because they don't do it anywhere else. And when we start getting into this business realm of entrepreneurs, business owners, executives, like these are the people that need that almost more than anyone. And when you start your day off pushing a car, carrying around a yoke, deadlifting 400 pounds, sitting on that stupid ass assault bike for 200 calories, like whatever it may be, when you begin your day with those things and okay, that really sucked, but I got through it. It makes everything else not seem so bad. Gives you a little perspective that you can go, well, you know what? Like that was really hard physically. Surely I can challenge myself in the rest of my day as well. And so, my philosophy with my coaching is, the things that we do for health and fitness should make everything else that we do easier. That's the point.
Right.
I don't train professional athletes. I don't have people that are, competitive in any high level. So we're really just training for life. So I love incorporating those types of things, whether my clients realize it or not. There's a rhyme and a reason for all the moves and all the exercises, but some of it is the mental side of things and me getting people to get uncomfortable on a regular basis so they can live more comfortably outside of the gym.
Yo, 100%, man. We talk about that in this podcast. Sorry, I was looking down. I'm just making sure we are still live on Facebook. I was making sure something didn't happen that actually cut us off. So I was checking that out, trying to follow along, trying to read the little captions to make sure that we were still good from that little glitch that we had there. But yeah, we're still good. We're still live. So yeah, we talk about that a lot because you're going to pick your pain in life. I mean, either you're going to inflict pain on yourself, meaning you're going to take your will and actually inflict the pain that you want, that pain that is now, right? That here and now. And typically, like you talk about, like biblically, they talk about long suffering, right? Like what is long suffering? Well, that's the shit that people who avoid pain, people who avoid hard situations, people who avoid that sweat in the gym, they've got to live with the suffering, man. They've got to go to sleep at night, wake up in the morning knowing that they fucking didn't do the shit they should have done. They didn't accomplish these things. They didn't push themselves that day. They just coasted through life in ease, right? You coast through life in ease. It feels easy in the moment. But the problem is you live with the suffering. You live with the pain. So I'd much rather choose my fucking pain. I'd much rather take control of my life and say, I'm going to implement X amount of fucking pain on my ass today. Whether that's working out, whether that's doing, 10 most important tasks, whether that's crushing a fucking goal I got on my list, I'm going to take it and I'm actually going to fucking put myself through this pain because guess what? I want to lay my fucking head on the bed tonight and be able to go to sleep. I want to wake up in the morning and say, man, I did everything I could have possibly done yesterday to make myself feel fucking amazing today. People don't realize that shit, man. But people live with the long suffering, man. That's slow dying. That's slowly dying inside. And what you're saying right there, just implementing not only the workout part of it, because, here's the thing. Here's what people don't get, right? And I'm going to tell you, I got a buddy of mine who's in fitness and he's fucking amazing. He helped me and my son transform our life like 5 years ago when we got out of shape, and he was amazing in the fitness realm, but every single other life, including business, is in shambles, every single other aspect of his life. And what people don't realize is the same thing. And I've told him this, by the way, the same passion that he puts into that fitness or into that workout is the exact same thing you got to apply to other areas of your life. You got to have that same passion in making your business run right. You got to have that same passion in being able to be in relationships and be able to function in relationships. You know, you got to have that same drive. You know, it's all the same mastery that we have, right?
Well, you know, there's the quote of how you do anything is how you do everything. And it rings true. And I've seen examples of that where you got somebody who's just in phenomenal shape, like just fucking chiseled 8-pack, but nothing else is right. But what that tells me is they're still missing something. They're leaving something out in that fitness journey, and it's reflecting in everything else that they do. And it's hard. Like, shit's hard. Look, that's what, 70% of our population is still overweight or obese. So that tells you right there that this is a difficult thing to accomplish for most people. And it's uncomfortable. But as you said before, like, we choose our discomfort. You can choose to go to the gym and be sore and maybe you tear a shoulder, you fuck up your knee or something. But you can also choose to sit on the couch and get diabetes and have high blood pressure and have a heart attack and get a stent and get a balloon and get bypass. One way or another, something is going to be hard somewhere along the line.
Right.
And people just don't choose the good hard enough and understand the benefit and the feeling behind it. And oftentimes it really is the first step. Like, the first step sucks. And I'm upfront and honest with people. Like, when they come in the gym, I'm like, look, these first 2 weeks, like, you need some Advil, you need some Epsom salts. Like, you need to show the fuck up. Like, it's going to be difficult. But once you get past that initial stage and you build that habit and that routine, you're going to start feeling like internally, you're going to feel that difference. And, it's funny. So we're recording this. It's January 5th, 6th, 7th, whatever.
Yeah, we're January 5th.
And so, we just came off a Christmas break. And so some of the people in my gym have been out for, a week or 10 days or whatever. They were on vacation. Cool. I was on vacation too. And we get back in the gym this week. We're like, oh my God, we all kind of sluggish a little bit, but we're fighting through it. And I sit and think, okay, we took a week off, maybe 10 days, and our bodies start to crave it though. You're like, man, I got to move again. And even though you don't want to do it and you don't feel like doing it, once we get in there and we do it, we're like, man, I sure am happy I just worked out. I sure am happy to sweat a little bit. I sure am happy to move my body. But there's so many people who never go that route. They just sit forever. And it blows, but that meme of it just blows my mind that there are people that never intentionally move their body, and they pay for it. Every time they pay for it.
100%, man. 100%. So I actually just finished phase 1 of 75 hard. Woo. And admittedly, I haven't been in the gym since I finished, and it's been probably about a week and a half. I finished a sale, all that kind of stuff. So I'm definitely looking forward of getting back into the grind of things. But man, I needed a minute. Like, to be honest with you, like every time like I finished that 75 hard, I did 75 hard, the first one, and then you do what's called phase 1, which is also includes all these fucking brittle cold showers and shit. And then I had something, it wasn't COVID that came over me, but something was giving me fucking fevers and had like a stomach flu or something like that hit me during that time. And to make it even more fucking brutal.
Yeah.
And the cold showers, like when you're running a fever, are fucking insane because, when you're running a fever, you're fucking cold. Like all of a sudden you get cold and then you get hot. Chilled, and you get hot. So that was even much more brutal to fight my way through, but I fought my way through that shit. And then here, towards just a couple of days ago, I had my plantar's fasciitis started firing up on me.
Oh my gosh.
And so I decided that I'm going to wait it out until after this. And believe it or not, bro, like I went to my chiropractor, he said, well, you don't have plantar fasciitis, but you have like its sister because it's like the thing on your foot next to it. Yeah. And he did an adjustment on my foot and cured it. So I'm sitting here right now with a cured foot.
Chiros are great, man.
Pretty damn close to being cured.
Chiropractors are awesome. They're my first line of defense. Like if anything ever is wrong with my body, that's the first place I go.
I always tell my chiropractor, if I break my arm, I'm going to come in there. And he's like, don't. I'm like, nah, man, you're my doctor. I'm like, I'm coming to see you, bro. And he's like, no. If you break your arm, man, don't come in here,
buddy.
Because he knows me. I might actually do it. But so let's talk a little bit about your journey with 75 hard, because I know a lot of y'all are a lot of y'all out there. So a lot of the listeners are always contacting me about 75 Hard, anything from, what book should I read to asking me questions about how they should do it and things like that. Well, you're definitely the man, because I want to say, you got through all 3 or 4 phases of 75 Hard?
Yeah, I did the whole Live Hard program.
So let's talk a little bit about that. I mean, how was that for you, and what would you recommend, anybody getting involved with something like that?
Yeah, so I started 75 Hard in August of 2019. So it was still fairly new, before the book, before the app, before the merch. Like, it was just a thing out there that was floating around the internet that if you knew, you knew, and that was it. So I had this whole group of people like, yeah, I'm in. Ended up with 2 dudes that actually finished it with me. And it was great. And, I went in with the right mindset. I obviously, I admittedly have an advantage. Like, I live in a gym, it's what I love working out most of the time. Like, I'm willing to do the work. So I understand that aspect of it. But that being said, like, I'm still a fat little Mexican inside. Like, if I could just sit around and eat tacos and chill all day long, that's what I would do. So yeah. I've said it for years. Like, I got to work just as hard as everybody else to stay in shape. Like, I'm not some big athlete. I'm not naturally athletic. Like, that's not me.
Yeah.
And so, it was a great challenge for me. It gave me something to focus on. And it gave me a new perspective on some things. And I know from my years in this business that anytime I put myself through any type of physical challenge, it manifests itself in my business somehow. So whether that's me pursuing Tough Mudders and other obstacle course races, or, half marathons, or whatever it may be, I know it will weave itself in and be a benefit to my clients somewhere down the road. So, I went through it. I kind of documented things on Facebook. I let people know what I was doing, because that didn't happen unless you posted on Facebook, obviously. But it was great. It was really a great experience. And then when last year began, I started having people reaching out to me and saying, hey, tell me about this. I see it, I'm thinking about doing it. What should I do? What should I do? What should I do? And, it all begins with just making that decision. I mean, that's the hard part. It's just going, all right, I'm going to do it. And once you say that, then that shit's real. And right. That really is the most difficult step, is getting to that point of going, all right, 75 days straight through, no exceptions, no excuses, no bullshit. I'm going to do it. Because the program itself, there's nothing inherently hard about anything in 75 Hard. I'd say the cold shower is honestly like the most brutal part of the whole thing, when you get into phase 1 and phase 3. But outside of that, like, we can all move our body. We can all drink water. You can stop eating like a dumpster fire. You can read a book. You can take a picture.
Well, see, bro, you take Texas cold showers, man. I take Ohio cold showers.
Yeah, you can keep those.
I take it's like 4 degrees below zero, and all your water's cold as fuck cold showers, bro. Hey, my dude,
icicles hanging off that beard.
One of my mentors, cold showers have been floating around the success realm for a long time.
Yeah.
And I mean, people were talking about this shit like back in the fucking day. One of my old school marketing mentors used to talk about it on stage. He would do them. Now, he lived in Alaska. And he actually got his fucking well was like connected to a fucking glacier. And he told me that was the only place on planet Earth that he could never get used to the cold showers, because eventually you jump in, you figure out your routine, how you like to wet your body, and and the next thing you know, you're just kind of chilling there. And if you stand there long enough, fucking, you'll go numb and you'll wait it out. So that's the way the cold showers go. Well, he said, like, pretty much like in Alaska, you could not. Now, here's the second thing he told me. So he was speaking on stage talking about these ice cold showers, right? And he had a guy from India come up to him, and the guy says, hey, he goes, well, you know what we call cold showers in India, don't you? And he said, no. He goes, it's a shower. Because they don't have hot water in India.
Perspective for you. That's great.
He said all the American audience was like, ooh, oh, it's going to kill us. And there's one Indian dude like, you guys ain't took a cold shower before?
He's like, y'all got hot water? What? Amazing. So, the journey's fun, and Andy Frisella, the founder of the program, talks about how it's a mental toughness challenge. It's not a physical challenge. Everybody looks at the workouts like, oh my gosh, 2 workouts a day. No, it's about the mental toughness, and it's about disciplining yourself in a way that most people never do. And what's really fun is I've said it, and you probably agree with me. Like when you look at the state of your business at any given time, you look 60 to 90 days ago, what were you doing? And that's why your business is where it is right now. So if you're flourishing, you were doing something 60 to 90 days ago that benefits you now. If you're suffering, it's because you were slacking off back then. And every part of that Live Hard program, I would look back 60 to 90 days and go, oh shit, like my business is booming. Things are going great. My life's going well. Like, all these things were happening, and it wasn't a secret to me because I knew, because I was so focused on what I was doing and accomplishing the task at hand that it made me focus in everything else that I was doing at the same time.
Right.
And that's the journey. That's the fun of it. And so, like I said, for anybody who's contemplating it, we'll make the disclaimer, consult your physician, but don't fuck around forever thinking, oh, maybe I'll do it then. And maybe I'll do, because there's always,
I've seen some dudes do that, man, and they're still not doing it, bro.
Right. But, and so many people make the excuse, and I see it of just people starting in the gym. They're like, well, I got a trip coming up, and then it's, I got an anniversary coming up, or my birthday's coming up, or this is coming up, or it's Taco Tuesday, or it's Fun Friday. Like, I mean, there's always something. Like in any given 30-day span, there's something happening. So either you want to do it or you don't, but quit bullshitting around saying that, oh yeah, well, I'm just waiting for. Like,
the best time is always now. Like that's what I've learned in anything that you do. Like the best time is the moment that you come up with the idea or the thought. And then what you said was key, Mark, of making the decision, because the Latin word or the Latin meaning for decision is to cut off, meaning to cut off any other outcome than the one that you decided on. And people butcher that fucking word in English language. We throw it around like we made no, we didn't. You didn't make a decision. If you made a decision, it'd been fucking done, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's period. And, we've watered down these words that used to have deep meaning, like, oh, he made a decision. Oh, wow. Back in the Latin world, man, you made a decision. Everybody be like, oh, shit, made a decision, man. And then people would watch you and they probably wouldn't even believe in you if you didn't come through with that decision.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I believe in that shit. I don't know if I told you this story, Mark, but when I wrote my book at the beginning of this year, I went live in one of my mastermind groups and threw down a $5,000 check and basically said that if I didn't get my book done in 3 months, I was going to send it to Eric, and Eric had to send it to this charity, this horrible charity, this one that I'd never sent any money to ever. So I literally got to the point where not only did I want to couple it with public humiliation, a group that I was mentoring, I coupled it with the thought of having to send a check to this horrible place that I would never want to send a check to ever, 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 right? Which basically rewired my brain. I started associating pleasure with the doing of the work. And then I told my wife about it, which she's like, we're not sending them a check. And she's like, you better get to work, bro. she's like on me at the same time, like how much you got done, right? So I put myself not only in position to make that decision, but I put myself in position to rewire my mindset to start associating pleasure with the doing of the work and associate more pain with the not doing of the work.
Yep.
People are so fucking scared to do this. I have mentioned this to so many people, and I can't even tell you one person that has followed my advice in this. I said, dude, if you believe in it, go write a fucking check to a charity that you would hate. Go live, tell the whole world you're going to send it to somebody that will collect it and will send it in. And I call it putting your dick on the chopping block. Go out, you want to get something done. You really want to get it done. You really want to make a decision. Then go do this. You will get it fucking done.
It's amazing what we can get done when we put ourselves in certain situations. And, I often think about like before you go on vacation. So I got back, I went on vacation the day after Christmas, and I knew I was going to be gone for about 10 days. And I had clients that I needed to take care of. I had to make sure they had all their shit together. Everyone had their workouts. The gym was set up. It was good to go. I got so much done in the 4 days before Christmas than I'd probably gotten done in the 2 weeks before that. But I was in go mode. Like I was laser focused. It was, I have to get this done because I'm literally on a time crunch, because as soon as Christmas rolls around, like I'm done. Like I don't want to take time away from my family. I was going on vacation with just my wife. It was technically our honeymoon. And so, you know, I wanted that time to be spent the way I intended to spend it, not going, oh shit, I forgot to do this. Oh shit, I need to send this person that. And so, you know, you get that focus and you put your back against the wall, and it shows you what you're made of.
Yeah, man. I call that productive procrastination. and it's seriously like, but if you are doing a lot of shit and you're an entrepreneur, you have to do it like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I forget, there's like a law that says whatever amount of time you allow yourself for something, you'll fill it. Like, for instance, if you were packing to go on vacation, like my wife does, and goes and gets the fucking suitcase out a week early. Right, she'll find that entire week to find things, to put socks in them, you know, and to fill it with this. The luggage will be sitting out in the next room, and she'll be filling it up and all this kind of stuff. But I guarantee you that you could get the same amount of shit done 30 minutes before you had to hit the door from the airport if you ran down, grabbed that fucking suitcase, threw all your shit in there. You know, maybe you'll forget your toothbrush, maybe you'll forget your underwear, but hey, you know, worse things have happened. But you'll get it done, man. So you'll actually fill up whatever amount of time you allot for something. You're going to fill that amount of time. So I became like a professional at trying to figure out like how much time I need to fucking do something, and only allotted myself that time and getting at it, man, getting to work.
Yeah. That's, you know, that happens in the gym too sometimes. Like, you know, we have a workout. I go, hey, this is what we're doing today, and you have until the hour is up to get it done.
Yeah.
And you know, any workout would be really easy if you stretch it out 2-3 hours, take some breaks, go sit and have a snack. But, you know, when you're looking at the clock going, oh shit, like I got one more round. Uh-oh, I need to go. You know, that's that push. That's that push people need.
Dude, you ever you know, I've had better workouts in 20 minutes, man, going in where I had to crush it out, and I just went and did, you know, hundreds of reps on my chest really fast, and just got in there and did drop sets on my triceps, and like I literally felt like jelly walking out. When I had times where I spent an hour in the gym and didn't even get near the workout because you were fucking around on your phone or something like that.
Yeah, there's the are you familiar with Fran?
No.
So Fran is a CrossFit workout that's well known in the community, and all it is barbell thrusters and pull-ups, and it's 21 of each, 15 of each, and 9 of each, and you do it as fast as humanly possible. And so there's like the elite athletes will do it literally in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So 90 reps total.
Holy shit. Yeah.
I've done it in like, I think I couldn't do it now, but the fastest time I ever did it was like 4:30 something.
Yeah.
And I mean, you talk about
Dante Smiley said Fran is whack as fuck.
Dante crushed Fran. That dude's a fucking monster.
Dante is a beast, man. Any of you guys who know Dante Smiley, boy, he's a beast.
Yeah, that dude is something else. But that workout, I mean, you know, for people in good shape, under 5 minutes, and you are laying on the floor, exhausted. You got this Fran, we call it the Fran cough, because you're breathing so hard that whole time, like through your you know, you're that mouth breather that they talk about in Stranger Things. And then the rest of the day, you're like, feels like you got emphysema coming on or something. Man, it is brutal, but that's a hell of a workout. It's all about intensity. You know, and I don't think people need to work out like that all the time. But again, going back to getting uncomfortable, sometimes we need those things as that reminder of what it's like to be uncomfortable. And you know, you want to take it a little bit deeper, what it's like to be alive. Because, you know, so there's I don't know if you know, but there's a Latin saying memento mori, which means you could leave now, meaning today could be it. Like you could die.
That's it.
And I have that tattoo on my forearm, and it serves as a reminder to me a lot of times that, you know what, there's a lot of people that didn't get to wake up today. There's a lot of people that wish they were in a gym doing burpees on a Tuesday morning with the sun shining through the garage door. You know, there's I don't know, a good 7-8 billion people that would probably trade places with either one of us in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And so it reminds me to be grateful and enjoy the moment instead of being like, oh fuck, I got to do more. You know, that you know, whatever type of suffering you think you're going through, that it's our first world problems that we have.
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's that reminder of like, you know what, like I'm blessed to be doing what I'm doing in any given moment. And I need to remember that and embrace it, because it could be the last time I ever do it.
You're right, man.
And
Gratitude,
Lord willing, I got another, I don't know, 60, 70 years left, but I don't know. Who the hell knows? You know, you were talking about your friend earlier that passed away, you know, relatively young. It could happen to any of us. So, you know,
everything, man. He had the whole entire world is, Jeff Kennard, baseball player, man, played for the Angels. And, just all of a sudden, bam, something came up, gone, man.
Yeah.
Gone.
I think it's always important to keep perspective and remember those things and why we do what we do and why it's so important to demand the best of ourselves, because otherwise we're just existing. And, you know, and I've talked about this for years, like, you know, there's people that exist and there's people that live, and we need more people that live, because a lot of the problems that the world has would be solved by that one thing shifting for a lot of people. Instead of people sitting around and settling for things and bitching and moaning about whatever, if more people just got out there, found their purpose, whatever that may be, and truly pursued the best that life has for them, the world would be changed forever.
See, I talk about this on a lot of my podcasts, bro. I call it shining your light. So what I call is that shining your light up on the world, man. When you let your spirit just fucking roar, you know, and you don't give a fuck about the haters. You don't give a fuck about what people, you know, are saying. You don't give a fuck about what they're thinking. You spend your time focusing on being the best version of yourself. You present and you bring that to the world in a humble way.
Yep.
You know, when you step into that light, you might run into somebody who, you know, your torch is just blazing, man. You got this torch that is fucking blazing, right? And you might run into somebody, or you might be the person, you might run into somebody that just has a little tiny little flame on their torch flickering, man. And you get the opportunity to fucking shine your light up on the world, touching that other person's torch and lighting that motherfucker up, right?
Hell yeah.
And that's the type of world that we need to live in. We talk a lot about on this podcast, brother, about the darkness, you know what I mean? And how the darkness serves the light. The light will never serve the darkness, you know? And when we step into the darkness, it's only because there's something to learn. There's something there that we're going to accomplish. There's something there that we're going to be able to change. So when we step out into the light, we are able to shine our light even brighter. You know, me and Zach was talking about this on the podcast yesterday, man. You know, we were specifically talking about, I mean, if you even look at the way the night serves the light, or the dark serves the day, look at when we go to sleep at night, man, and we wake up to live our day, right? You know, It's there to serve the light. You know what I mean? The light is always going to be the king. You know, we talk about love and lust, you know, lust being here and love being here, right? Love being the fucking light, the massive amount of power, right? You know, that's here, right? And then you got lust that looks a lot like it, but it's fucking not the same, right?
Yep.
It's
Amen
just,
to that.
you know, it's here and now. It's not internal. Love's internal. You know, love's forever. Love's eternity, right?
Yeah.
I believe that God is a pure form of unconditional love. You know what I mean? That's one of my core beliefs. I mean, I've studied the Bible, I've studied multiple religions and shit like that. And I just believe that God is a form of like pure, unconditional love. And everything outside of God is something that we make up. It's a lie and illusion that we get from this world that we live in, right? Because even if you go back from Adam to Adam and Eve, you go back to Adam and Eve. Whenever Adam and Eve was in the garden and God came in, he said, Adam and Eve, he said, where are you? They said, we're hiding, we're naked, right? He said, first thing he said is, who told you that?
Yeah.
He didn't say, how'd you think that? Where'd that come? He said, who told you that? You know? So that fucked up shit that goes on in our heads, man, I don't care what anybody believes in, any religion, anything like that. You guys know that I all love you. You know what I mean? I don't care if you're Muslim. I got friends that are Muslim. I got friends that are like atheists. They believe in the universe, which I just think that They replace the word universe with God. You know what I mean? And I don't care what I don't care what anybody believes in. You know what I mean? That's not what this podcast is about. But the principles are fucking core and they're solid. And that's what we talk about here, man.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts on that, man? I mean, everybody goes through darkness in their life, you know what I mean? And I'm sure, everybody goes through them times that we got to deal with them, these demons and things like that come up. How do you utilize that? How do you bring that into your game?
I think it's, again, a lot of it has to do with perspective and look, I think all of us have a sob story if we wanted it to be one. And some people that I know have hit rock bottom that most people would go, yep, that's pretty fucked up. Like you were in prison, you were on drugs, you were bankrupt, you were less than bankrupt. Like, and I've never gone through any of that. Now I could go through like, okay, well, my dad raised me because my parents got divorced when I was young. And then, blah, blah, blah. Like it ain't a sob story to me. It's my life. And I just look at it and go, okay, what can I learn?
That's it, man.
What can I continually learn? Okay, I fucked that up. How do I learn from that so I don't do that again? And if we don't do that, we just keep making that same dumbass mistake over and over again until one day we're like, oh, dumbass, quit doing that, and you won't keep getting that you don't want. And
right.
and again, most people just don't have the awareness. They don't care to. They don't think about it. They wonder why they're still in the same position they were a decade ago. And it's because they're not willing to face the facts and look in the mirror and go, oh, you're the one that's causing all these problems. And some of that's just maturity, though. Like, when we're growing up, we think everyone else is to blame. You get in your 20s and you think you fucking know everything. And then somewhere along the line, you hope that we finally have enough self-realization to go, oh, wait a minute. What's the common denominator in all my problems? Me.
Right.
And what's interesting is we think that that's weakness, but it's strength. And that's the problem, is that somewhere along the line in this culture, it became, well, it's okay. Like, well, you were abused, or you didn't have a good upbringing, or you were poor. Instead of going, all right, well, that happened, but you can still change it. Because as long as you're still pointing the finger everywhere else, you can't change until that thing changes. You want to blame the economy that you're broke, then you got to wait for the economy to not be broke again. You want to blame the president, then you got to wait for a new president. You want to blame your mom, what the hell are you going to do about that? Like, she's always going to be your mom. He's always going to be your dad. Like, you can't change those things. What you can change is the way that you think and react to any situation. And if you're willing to do that and willing to learn those lessons and face the music and go, you know what? I fucked that up. I'm the common denominator here, and I have the power to change it. Then you can, look at that darkness and go, okay, that happened. It was a thing. I don't want to be there anymore. Let me move towards that light. Let me move towards this continuum that's a better way of living, in a more fulfilling way, and a more joyful and happy way to exist than being muddled in this darkness over here.
Well, essentially, you can actually find, I always say, man, when you can find like joy inside the darkness, then you're living, okay? Because you start to get this understanding, because we're all going to have ups and downs, especially as entrepreneurs, man. I always say the bigger highs that you have in life, the lows are going to come crushing in on you, man. And I know it happens to me, man. I'll have big ass fucking sales and shit like that, and I'll be fucking doing all this stuff, and then the next week I'll just feel like shit, man. Like, I'll feel like total shit for some reason, and it's just, that's the way the world works, man. You've got to have highs and lows. Nobody wants to be fucking walking around looking like Tom Cruise jumping on Oprah's couch and shit with that crazy fucking smile on his face all the time, right? You know what I mean? Like, who would want to be 100% happy all the time? I mean, you wouldn't even know happiness exists if you didn't have fucking sorrow, if you didn't have pain, you know what I mean, that we live through. So I feel that you got to find like pleasure in that by understanding that that's just part of life.
Yeah. And you got to have that gratitude too. And there, I can remember times. So I love doing obstacle course races. That's kind of my jam.
And I see it, man.
Yeah. And I've done some really long, tough mudders, like overnight, 12-hour, 24-hour things. And I can remember moments being alone on the course in the dark. I got this headlamp on, I'm muddy, I'm tired. And I can remember moments just stopping my brain for a second and going, you know what? I am thankful that I am out here because I made the decision. I made the choice. I paid,
Yeah,
I paid to be out there.
You're finding pleasure in the pain, man.
Weird reason. But
yeah,
I'm like, you know what? I'm grateful that I'm able-bodied and I'm still alive and moving. And, if I wanted to, I can go back to my tent and grab a sandwich. It changes the whole situation in that moment. It really changes everything. And it makes your mind go, oh, this isn't so bad. Like, you're out here suffering, but you chose it. And, you're out here for as long as you want to be here. Okay, we got 12 hours left. Cool, whatever. But it's amazing that gratitude and how it can shift your thinking in a split second.
Right. You got to learn gratitude now. That's what a lot of people don't realize is that they think that it's some sort of future thing. They think that they're going to be grateful when they get the house that they want, or they're going to get grateful when their business takes off, or they're going to become grateful when their wife starts being cool to, gratitude is actually a habit. It's something that you have to implement now. So if you've got ears to hear this podcast, be grateful that you can hear it. If you got eyes to see this podcast, be grateful that you can see it. If you're sitting in a fucking trailer, be grateful that you have a roof over your head. Because guess what? When your time comes, you're going to carry that same habit into every level in your life, every time you level up. But there's people that get all the way to the top and fucking hate their life, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hate their life because they never learned to be grateful at any step in the game.
Yeah. Our homie Stuman, he's got that G code. And, we talk about starting the day with gratitude. And you know what? Some days I'm grateful for, my wife and my kids and sunshine and a roof over my head. Some days I'm grateful for tacos. Some days I'm just grateful to wake up and breathe. But whatever it is, there's gratitude in all that we do. And I've said it for years. Like, if you wake up, you got purpose. Like, if you woke up today, you're not done. Whatever your purpose is that you're supposed to be serving, it's not done yet. That's why you're still here. And you have to find that purpose and that gratitude in all that you do. Because like you just said, like, you can't be grateful at the next level if you're not grateful here. If you're not happy now, you're not going to be happier. Well, you may be a little happier if you're a millionaire, but you're not going to have that true happiness. They actually say, I don't know, I saw some study. It says 75,000 is the marker of, like, if you make more than that, there actually is an increased level of happiness.
Yeah. Right.
But then anything past that doesn't even matter anymore. It's really funny.
Right. Right.
But you're right. I mean, there's plenty of really, really wealthy, miserable people. And there's a lot of really happy, poor people too.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. I always say wealth is a mindset, man. You know what I mean? Like, you're really being wealthy is an absolute 100% mindset. There's been plenty of people that I know in my life that are fucking amazing people that, they may not have had a lot of money, but the money that they had, they knew how to manage it in a way that they could find happiness. Right.
Right.
And they never did without, and they lived an abundant life, really, with what they had. My grandmother was one of them people that lived an abundant life with what she had, man. And she was so solid in her core principles, though. So she never had a car, and my dad would have to drive her around town. My dad and my uncle. Well, next thing you know, she was going to grocery stores 2 or 3 towns over. And they were like, why are you having us take you over 2 or 3 towns over to go grocery shopping? Well, what would happen was she was so strong in her principles that if she walked into a grocery store and they sold alcohol, she wouldn't buy anything from them.
Oh, wow.
she didn't believe in it. She thought it was bad, man.
That's awesome.
And she just wouldn't do business with them. So it's amazing, man. You don't see a lot of that this day and age, but she was rich, man. She was wealthy in her own way,
Yeah.
And that's super fucking powerful, man. That's some super powerful shit, bro. Great podcast, by the way, man. This is some good stuff, man. So anyhow, we're about coming up on the hour mark here, brother. So is there any last things you want to drop for us before we jump out of here?
So, my first thing would be to anyone who needs to get healthier, who needs to get in shape, who knows they need to lose weight, just start. Like literally anything. Go walk around the block today, and then tomorrow you walk just a little bit further. Drink some water today, drink a little bit more tomorrow. Have a fucking vegetable. Like, like
stop ordering the fries with your cheeseburger and get a salad.
Like,
that's
don't
a little
overcomplicate, and don't think that you have to have everything in line before you begin. That's the fatal mistake people make. They're like, oh, well, I got to get my gym membership, and I got to get my new shoes, and I got to get this app. No, just start. Like, the next decision you make can be a better decision, period. Past that, if anybody would like to engage with me more on Facebook, I have the Make America Fit Again Facebook group.
It's a badass group.
Man,
I asked a question in that group, dude. I think was on everybody's mind. Like everybody in planet Earth is thinking this question, but nobody fucking ever asked it. And I asked the question, like, if you mix things with your water, does it still count as water? And I think literally people in your group are like, I've been thinking that for 25 years or whatever, right?
So funny.
And yeah, I mean, it's the most simple question, but I'm sitting here like putting protein powder in my fucking shake and shit. And I'm going, I'm like, am I getting my water intake, man? But then I found out Andy Frisilla for 75 Hard. Yes, I'm getting water intake, right? Because Mark answered the question for me.
Yep.
And Mark said, even if you eat an apple, you're getting water intake, right? But then I found out that Andy Frisilla does not allow that shit in 75 Hard.
For 75 Hard, it doesn't count. For your body, it counts.
For your body, it counts.
So you can find me there. I'm on Facebook. Like, that's my other permanent residence. So you can reach out to me on my personal page. And if you're interested in working with me, you can go to markzfitness.com. There's some form somewhere. I don't know, somewhere. You can fill it out. I'm not hard to find. My last name is Zalmanoff, for God's sake. So, just Google me. I'll come up. I promise.
Yeah, man. And I'll be seeing you, Mark, this coming up weekend. I'm flying Friday.
Buddy. I'm excited.
Yeah, for the Apex executive meeting. So, all right, everybody. So you guys heard it from the man, Marc Zalmanoff. Get your shit together, man. Great podcast, great advice. Love it, man. So we appreciate it, everybody. And as usual, see you on that next one.
Yes, sir.